Let's spend some time looking at how to set up objective quizzes and exams in Canvas. The first thing you do, of course, is open the course that you want to add the quiz to, and then go to the module where you want to add the quiz, for example, week 1, and click on the plus sign to the right, on the right of the box, and select Add Quiz from the drop-down box. And this is a new quiz, so you click on New Quiz, and you give the quiz a name. For example, Chapter 1 Quiz. And if you have a special assignment category for quizzes, as we do for this course, you click on the down arrow after Group and select Quizzes. And then you can either have the access to the quiz indented on your Canvas page or not, and click on Add Item. The next thing you do is click on the title of the quiz that was just added to your module, and you'll be taken to this page that allows you to actually set up the quiz. Now, you need to click on Edit in order to access this screen. And you'll see that the title of the quiz appears in this box, and then you can add whatever instructions you would like for the quiz to this box. Now, I have pre-typed this, so all I had to do is copy and paste it, so you don't have to watch me type. But there are the instructions, and of course you can edit them any way you want. In the instructions, it's a good idea to indicate what materials the quiz or exam covers, how many questions there are, and how many points each question is worth to lead to a total points amount for the quiz. And if there's a time restriction, and if it can only be accessed once or it can be accessed more than once, you can include that information here. Then scroll down and select from whether you want it to be a graded quiz, a graded survey, a practice quiz, or ungraded. And in this case, it's a graded quiz, so we leave that checked. We check that we make sure that we have the correct assignment group. And for this particular course, we have a special assignment group for quizzes, so that's fine. Now, we can choose to shuffle the answers so that the quiz answers appear in a different order for each student. We can select a time limit, and on this quiz we're having a 10-minute time limit, so we indicate how many minutes students have to take the quiz. If we want them to have multiple attempts to complete the quiz, we can click here and indicate whether we want the score that is kept to be the highest score, the last score they earn, or an average of all their quiz scores. And we can click here and indicate in this box how many attempts people are allowed to have. But for my quiz, I'm not allowing multiple attempts, so we won't check that. Generally, you do want to check that students can see their quiz responses that will show the incorrect answers, and that students also get to see the correct answers. Now, if you want to limit when the correct answers can be seen, so for example, if you don't want anybody to be able to see the correct answers to the quiz until the following week or until after the quiz has locked down so that people can't share information, if you think that's a possibility, you can enter that date here. Similarly, if you want to hide the correct answers at a certain point, perhaps you are going to include some of the quiz questions on the exam and you only want them to have so long to study those answers, you can indicate that here. Similarly, if you want only one question shown at a time, if, for example, the wording in one question provides the answers for another, you might want to do that, so you can click this. And then you can also indicate that you want a question locked after they answer it so they can't go back and change their answers. but I'm not doing that for this quiz. You also can require an access code or filter IP addresses. Not too many people use that because in general, the only people who can access the quiz are the people in the course. But those are options that you do have. You also can check to indicate that the student's browser has to be locked down so they can't look up answers using their browser. Now, oftentimes, you can control that through time limits. For example, this quiz is set up so it has 5 questions and there are 10 minutes to complete the quiz, and 2 minutes per question would make it a little bit difficult to look up answers. But you also can require the lockdown browser. I don't generally do that because for me, the more complicated things are, the greater the chance that students will have problems with it. And then you set your due date here. And the due date for this was August 31st. And the default is 11:59 p.m. that night. Or you can indicate a specific time that you want the quiz to lock down here. And whether you select a time or not, you just click Done. Available from, you can set a specific time that you want students to begin being able to access the quiz, or you can just set it for the first day of class, which for this semester would be August 25th. And then you set the time that you want the quiz to lock down so that students can't submit the quiz after that time. And I generally set that for the same time as the due date and time, although you can choose a different time if you want. And then click Save. Okay, now you're ready to add the questions, and you click Edit again. And this time you'll see at the top a tab, the details would be the page that we've already filled out. So we click on Questions, and then we click Add a new question. Here we can number the question, and we have a variety of types of questions that we can choose from. And I'm going to demonstrate how to do multiple choice, true, false, and fill in the blank. There are a lot of other possibilities available, and you can kind of play with those to see how they work. But for the first one, let's make it multiple choice. And remember that we have indicated that each question on this quiz is worth 20 points, so we want to make sure that we indicate that here. And then we just type in our question. And we're going to do very easy things. The demonstration. We just put our multiple choice answers in here. And then after we do that, we make sure we click next to the correct answer so the correct answer appears next to it. And then if we want, we can add comments. We can add comments in the green box that will be provided for students who get the correct answer, but not for students who get the incorrect answer. So for example, we could put in something along the lines of, good job. Click on Done. We also can enter comments that students will get only if they select the wrong response. And we could put anything in there that we want, including information as to why the answer is incorrect. But we're going to just save time by doing something like that. And then in the gray box, we can include comments that everyone will get, whether they get the correct answer or not. And this is a good time to include information that is kind of a review, so that it generally reviews the reasoning that led to the correct answer. And you could put whatever you like in that box. You also don't have to put anything in any of these boxes. This is simply an opportunity to communicate with students to help them learn from taking the quiz. In some cases, that can be very helpful, and in other cases, it might not be necessary. Okay. So then after we are finished doing that, we click on Update Question, and we're taken back to this page, and we can click on Show Question Details, which gives us all of the information except the comments, so we can easily glance at it and, for example, make sure that we've indicated the correct number of points or that we've indicated the correct answer. And it's just a nice way for us to review what we've done. So then we click on New Question. Question 2. And for this one, we're going to use a fill in the blank. Get us 20 points. And as the information at the top says, you enter the question in this box, and then you enter for possible answer all the different permutations of the answer that you will accept. So for example, if I have the day after Saturday is blank, I can put in Sunday with a capital, Sunday abbreviated with a capital and a period, Sunday abbreviated with no period but a capital, Sunday spelled out with no capital, Sunday abbreviated with no capital but a period, and Sunday abbreviated with no capital and no period. So my students could put in any one of these answers and it would be read as correct. But you have to list every possible permutation of an answer that you will accept. Okay? And that can be a little bit tricky, but Canvas does provide a way to do that. And then when you're finished with the question, you click Update Question. And you can tell that all of the permutations of the answer appear here. And it is worth 20 points, so we're in good shape for this question. So we click on plus New Question to do our third question. And this one will be a true or false question, which is also worth 20 points. And we're just going to do another quick addition question. It says 4 plus 4 does equal 8, and that's true. We see that there's already a green arrow here, so that indicates that the answer is true. We can click Update Question. Then I'm just going to add a couple of more quick questions to bring us up to our 100 points that we need. Our 5 questions, so we have 100 points. And if we have a true-false question and the answer is false, as it is here, of course, we click on the arrow next to false, and that will turn green, indicating that that's our correct answer. And then once we've got all of our questions written out, we can review them to make sure that they look correct, and then click on Save. The next step, the final step, is to preview the quiz. And it's a good idea to do this because it gives you one more opportunity to read through the questions to make sure that they're written well, that there are no typos, that nothing's confusing. And also, taking the quiz will give us an opportunity to check to make sure that we've marked all the correct answers as correct. It's very easy sometimes to forget to do that, but when we take the quiz and we are marked wrong for a question and we know the answer is right, then obviously we see that we need to go in and change how the quiz is set up. So to do that, you click on Preview, and then you just go through and take the quiz. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing it because I don't want to take up your time. And then after we preview it, we can scroll down. And if our score is 100 out of 100, and we know that we selected all the correct answers, then we can assume that we've got all the correct answers marked correctly. And you notice that the comments that we made, since we got the correct answer, we got a box that contains both the comment for the correct answer and the comment that went to everyone. Okay. And then we can go back to our home page, and we can publish this quiz by clicking on the circle to the right of the row. Now, this is optional, but I always find that it's good to add some text to the module that explains what the quiz covers, how many questions there are, how many points it's worth, how long they have to take the quiz, and how many attempts they have, just so that they'll know what's involved in taking the quiz before they access it, particularly if they can only access the quiz one time. Because if they can only see the instructions after they access the quiz, and they can only take the quiz one time, they might not be prepared to take the quiz. Now, I add information to modules using text headers, and because of the way that the text header function works, I always type the copy for the text header out and then just copy and paste it into a text header. So that's what I've done here. So I'm going to copy this information, go to the plus sign in the row for the module that the quiz appears in, select Add Text Header, paste my text into here, add the item, and then just move it up so that it appears above the quiz. And click on the circle to publish it. Now, once you've added the quiz, and we also have a paper 1 assignment, you can go to the grade book and see that the chapter 1 quiz has been added, and the paper 1 assignment that we set up is also there. So we know that both of these assignments are set to be graded and have grades posted to the grade book. When students take objective quizzes and exams on Canvas, those grades are automatically recorded to the grade book as soon as they complete the quiz or exam. Okay, that's all there is to it. Thanks so much for listening to this presentation. I hope it helped.